The USEIF forecast in 2010 that there will only be 140 electric vehicles worldwide by 2035. But this proved to be a major underestimate. Research indicates that electric cars will overtake the whole automotive sector in the next years due to their rising popularity. From $287.36 billion in 2021 to $318.22 billion in 2028, the market is anticipated to increase. ICE will rise above the 2020 decline brought on by the epidemic. In a few years, vehicles will still be around. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Tesla Tomorrow as we prepare for the anticipated rise in demand for electric cars. A number of automakers have established goals for producing electric vehicles in the next years. By 2030, BMW hopes to have 50% of its sales worldwide be electrified. Ford also plans for half of all of its vehicles to be electric by 2030, while the German carmaker set an interim goal of selling 2 million electric vehicles by 2025. Ford plans to create 600,000 electric vehicles annually by the end of 2023, and by 2024, it will contribute to the production of 270,000 Mach-E vehicles annually in North America. China and Europe, in addition to producing 150,000 Lightnings and 150,000 electric transit vans for North America and Europe. The Tesla rival also intends to sell 30,000 units of an unidentified electric SUV in Europe. By 2035, GM plans to sell only vehicles that emit no emissions. Is there room for electric cars to grow even more in the future? Let's find out, but before, please click the like button, subscribe, and enable notifications if you enjoy this kind of content so you can stay informed about all things Tesla. Seba firmly believes in the disruptive power of technology, the convergence of technologies, and the innovative business model. Additionally, he thinks that organizational prowess and product innovation will spark the emergence of whole new markets and social structures while simultaneously bringing the old ones to an end. The speed and scope of the current energy and transportation disruptions were precisely predicted by the Tesla enthusiast. He claims that the energy, transportation, and food industries are already experiencing significant technological changes that will have a remarkable impact on climate change. In 15 years, he continued, these three disruptions alone will be able to directly erase more than 90% of the world's net greenhouse gas emissions. According to Seba, solar, wind, and batteries will threaten the fossil fuel industry, as well as internal combustion engines and private car ownership. Autonomous electric vehicles, on the other hand, will disrupt the transportation as a service industry. A number of analysts have projected that the electric vehicle market would grow rapidly in the upcoming years, which will lead to a decrease in the production of cars with internal combustion engines. Many analysts forecast that after 2028, automakers will stop selling vehicles with internal combustion engines, and by 2035 or 2040, there won't be nearly as many of these vehicles on the road. Seba pointed out that even if electric vehicles are widely being used, not all producers of internal combustion engines are able to produce electric vehicles. Producing an electric vehicle will involve more than just producing enough of them to reach goals, putting in place a reliable and easily accessible charging network, and lessening the environmental effect of vital mineral extraction for electric cars. Among the many obstacles to achieving the aims of electric vehicles are batteries. In the upcoming years, there is predicted to be a significant shift towards electric vehicles. By 2030, it is projected that electric vehicles would dominate the entire automotive sector. By 2035 to 2040, every internal combustion engine vehicle in the government fleet will be phased out and replaced with 100 all-electric vehicles. By 2050, all privately owned light-duty cars with internal combustion engines will likewise be phased out and completely replaced by electric cars. As Seba, since the need for oil is predicted to decline in the near future, more people will likely turn to electric vehicles, according to CEO of ARK Invest Cathie Wood. The electric vehicle market is expanding rapidly, and it is becoming clear that more people will drive electric cars in the years to come. The Tesla bull also said that the market for electric vehicles is expected to be driven by a potential switch to battery-powered vehicles. The CEO of ARK Invest claims that the years 2022 to 2024 will be the most promising for sales of electric vehicles, since new models will be introduced and government regulations around the world will support them more. By the end of 2021, there were more than 16.5 million electric vehicles on the road. By 2030, there will probably be close to 350 million electric cars on the road worldwide. but further growth will depend on attempts to diversify the battery market. Electric vehicle prices are expected to drop to about half of what they are now, which will increase interest in these vehicles even more. This is because manufacturing essential mineral supplies lowers the risks of supply bottlenecks and higher prices in the future. Many people already know that internal combustion engine vehicles are inferior to electric cars in many ways. An electric transit bus requires 40% less maintenance and repairs than a vehicle with an internal combustion engine of the same size, according to a study conducted by the Argonne National Laboratory. Electric cars are also more energy efficient. With 60 losses from heat and friction, the typical internal combustion engine has a fuel efficiency of barely 40. Because of this, internal combustion engines need a lot more energy to travel a given distance than electric vehicles do. Because they have fewer moving parts and a lower reliance on oil than their counterparts with internal combustion engines, it has been claimed that electric vehicles, which are becoming more and more popular, are more reliable. Making an electric car requires a lot of work, so automakers cannot simply start producing them. Electric cars are an entirely new kind of technology. It's astounding how much research and development is going into creating electric vehicle technology, but at the same time, there's less and less work being done on combustion engine technology. While electric vehicles are still in the early stages of development and are directly competitive with internal combustion engines have long since reached a state of maturity thanks to early, incremental advances. Additionally, the cost of electricity is far less than that of fuel or petrol. Purchasing and operating an electric vehicle will be less expensive once the batteries are fully charged. Going forward, the cost of energy is probably going to be less than that of petrol because solar and wind power have now reached a mature stage and are becoming significantly more affordable than coal. Nonetheless, there are few prerequisites for the effective deployment of electric vehicles. The widespread adoption of electric vehicles will necessitate legislative assistance that promotes the establishment of charging stations in offices, business buildings, and residential buildings. Local and city laws will determine how charging infrastructure is installed, particularly in highly populated urban regions. Since electric vehicles are now the most promising technology to replace internal combustion engines, building rules and regulations will necessitate the installation of electric vehicle chargers as well as new construction and renovations whenever possible. To satisfy anticipated growth and demand and to lower the cost and increase the accessibility of electric vehicle charging, a significant expansion of the vehicle charging infrastructure is required. Standard building design plans must incorporate charging infrastructure, according to open planners, building developers, and electrical equipment vendors. A number of government initiatives have encouraged the use of electric vehicles. For example, in June 2022, members of the European Parliament voted in favor of prohibiting the sale of petrol and diesel vehicles beginning in 2035. The transition to electric vehicles is happening quickly, and more individuals and nations are starting to recognize the advantages of utilizing clean energy. The Australian government recently announced intentions to implement new laws to help enhance the affordability of electric cars and to raise their sales in similar news. Countries like Australia have enforced policies to promote the sale and use of electric automobiles in these countries. Recently, New York City stated that almost 1,000 electric vehicles will replace the about 925 ICE vehicles in the government fleet. Federal grants will pay for both the installation of 315 more electric vehicle charging stations throughout the city and the $420 million that will be authorized for electric vehicles and related infrastructure by the end of 2021. Do you believe that in the end, electric cars will rule the auto industry? Please share your opinions with us in the space provided below, and don't forget to estimate the value of Tesla for us. Please click on the following video to see more about what Tesla has been up to in the previous few days. Talk to you there.